This is going to be a walk around of my 93 GMC Crew Cab Dually. It's bagged and body dropped. It's on 16-inch Alcoas. I have to fix the fenders. The fenders are jacked from being, drug on the ground and whatnot. It's got a 4-link with a panhard in the rear. There's the panhard, and then you can't really see the 4-link stuff on account of, it's under the truck. Then 10-inch bags back here, shocks, average stuff. And then in the front, it's got, you probably can't see them, but it's got Airlift Dominator Series 2,600 pound bags. Just put a new radiator in it. It's 454 throttle body. Also, just hooked up the York last night. I've had it hooked up for a couple weeks, but had to redo some things. I'm a cheap guy, so what I did for fittings was this right here is about $5 at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. It's just a 1/2-inch MPT fitting. It's just a coupler, and it tightens down onto the factory York fitting there, and it tightens all the way up. And then you've got I've got a 1/2-inch MPT hydraulic hose for the leader, and it screws right into that, and none of that leaks. Works really good. I need to get an air filter for the input side, and then it goes back here, and right now I've just got it on some airline that I've got laying around the house. It's like 350 PSI rated, and seems to be holding up fine. This is the main thing, is having a leader, so that way it'll handle the heat and the pressures that come out of this thing. That other airline runs all the way back to the tank, where I've got a water trap or water separator, whatever, and check valve back there into the tank. I've still got to get another check valve to go from the tank to the bag so it won't backfeed. It's traditionally body dropped. I don't know if you can see here, but it's probably like 2.5 inches, 2 inches, something like that. The seat's been lowered so that way I keep all the headroom normal. Front and rear seats have both been lowered, actually. Let's see. Yeah, you can see the bracket pretty much just cut in half, sectioned out and welded back together. Runs pretty good. Just needs some other things. 102,000 miles on it. It's got pretty basic air control stuff. It's got a dual needle. For the orange is the tank, the black is the rear bags, and then the front bags, and then just up and down on the front and back. And all the airline for the bags and air management is all 3/8 with 3/8 valves. On the York, I built the bracket. I've got another piece that goes from here to back over to there that I got to put back on. I had to take this off the other day once I got it installed. But I built the bracket that goes here, much cheaper than, buying one. And what I did for the belt assembly was I got this pulley here. This is the factory water pump pulley off of the Jeep Wagoneer that I got the York off of. My truck's already running an electric fan, so I just flipped it backwards, bolted it on, and then just ran it straight over to my York, and used the factory clutch on the York and everything. And then I've got a wire that goes from the clutch on the York here. It goes up inside, goes to a switch through a relay, and the pressure switch is in line. I've got an adjustable pressure switch. I've got to get it set up, but right now I'm doing like 120 on and 160 or so off. But other than that, it's a pretty solid truck. We'll start it up real quick, let the compressor run a little bit. Fuel gauge doesn't work. It's the only thing I have left to get going. There's no telling how much gas is actually in this thing. Nobody knows. Right now we're at about 100 PSI, this is the speed that it'll fill at idle, which is right now about 1200. But you give it a little bit of gas, about 2000 RPMs. And it fills up pretty quick. And then, you know, you can lift the front up, lift the back up. It's all good. The exhaust that's on this truck is just a Flowmaster. I'm going to assume it's a 50 series. It was on it when I got the truck. There's no catalytic converter, so it's just straight pipe, and it's dumped. It's dumped right up here underneath the bed. You probably can't see it, but it's right there. And it sounds all right. I want to get the pipe reran, but that's what it is right now. And that thing runs pretty good. Works well. The compressor being on a V-belt separate from the serpentine is kind of what I wanted. That way, if it ever was to tear that up, it wouldn't hurt anything, and my serpentine would stay running fine. It's also set up for nitrogen. I don't have it hooked up right now because I'm running the compressor, but I've got the bottle just laying back there with some crap on it. But you get down here and you can see the water trap there, and seems like it works out pretty well. It was set up for electric compressors when I bought it. It's got Cadillac tail lights, you know, molded in, shaved tailgate handle. Roll pan, I assume, was drug off at one time or another because it's pretty jacked right there on the edges. You know, probably got ripped off. As well as the fenders, like I said, they're totally trashed. I got to put new fenders on it. That's it's for another day, I guess. Bumper's pretty trashed on the front. Don't know why. The guy I bought it from had it sitting on a block of wood, so I assume that's what tore it up. And under here, you probably can't see it, but there's a big old skid plate right there that's built on, and that thing goes all the way up to the cross member. Let's see. Turn this truck off real quick. See, can't, yeah, it's just too dark down in there. But anyways, that skid plate's 100% solid all the way, and needs new headlights. These are pretty cheesy wannabe projectors that are super yellow. They actually have a little bit different of a design than I've usually seen on most of these trucks. They've got an additional parking light right there on the headlight, which I guess is, I don't know, kind of lame in my book, because you've got the regular parking lights and then this one that lights up and then this one that doesn't line up with anything. You know, if it lit up here or something, it'd be better. And they're super yellow. You can't see shit out of them. It's awesome. The hood, since it's bodied, the hood's been clearanced for, you know, different things, the intake, and it's got a hole right here for this dude on the AC compressor, and then back there for the intake some more. Yeah, and then obviously it doesn't have any hinges anymore. I mean, any springs, because it's got trailer fenders in there. You know, I'm gonna put some gas shocks on the hood probably, but it's dirty. I just got this truck, I don't know, probably about a month ago, maybe, I don't know, a few weeks back, and just working on it a little at a time. The interior is relatively clean. It's it needs to be cleaned up, but it's not really tore up anywhere. I gotta fix this big old rat nest of wires. I don't know, gotta hide all that stuff. Replace the arm deal here, and you know, it's got speakers there, and everything in this truck's Rockford Fosgate as far as the speakers go. In the dash, the 2 doors, and the back little 4x6s. And then it's missing some trim pieces, you know, right there. I have them all in the garage, just need to get around to putting it all back together. But like I said, it's relatively clean. Needs a headliner, you know, so it's kind of loud going down the road, you know. But I don't know, I guess it was a green color, the teal or whatever painted it. They did an okay job. I've seen pictures of this truck on the internet before, and it used to be a flat black. Guy I bought it off of said it looks really nice when it's waxed. So I assume they probably waxed the flat and made it kind of half-ass shiny. So it's got kind of a gloss now. I wish I would have just not messed with it, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I still have a lot of stuff to do. I'm gonna replace that airline right here. Like I said, I think it's 350 psi rated, but I'm gonna replace that with you know, the hard nylon DOT airline. Eventually, I just had that laying around the shop here, so I just threw it in. I'm gonna replace it like this stuff here, and you know, it works all right. I've got this here, that way I can still run, you know, air tires and run tools or what have you. From that, they cut a hole in the bed to get to the fuel pump. It needs a sending unit, and cut that out the other day. And you know, I already have a giant hole, might as well. But I've got the extra piece, and I'm going to put a hinge on it and, you know, make it just a little flap. And then I'll probably end up covering the notch up one of these days. Some sheet metal or maybe another piece of bed, whatever. But that's it. Aside from that, it's a pretty clean truck. Most of the body is decent. The only thing that's really jacked up on the body is just the fenders back there. Aside from that, and I gotta get a overflow bottle for my radiator. It's as of right now, it's just a hose, and sometimes when it's cold and you start it up, it'll piss out fluid. So gotta get an overflow for it. The body's relatively clean. Like I said, the fenders are jacked right there, and then this one's pretty tore up over here. Guess they tried to fix it with something before and, you know, made it worse. So throw some new fenders on it. The hood is totally thrashed. You probably can't tell because of how dirty it is, but it's like somebody played jumping jacks on it or something. I mean, it's, like I said, it's 100% thrashed. The whole hood, all the way around. Had to put wipers back on it. They had taken the wipers off. This truck came from New Mexico. They don't have inspections. I live in Texas, where we have to do inspections and whatnot, so had to put all that stuff back on. These aren't caps. These are legit lug nuts. I want to get smaller lug nuts one day and put probably some like spike caps or something on it. But it's going to stay with the 16-inch Alcoas for the time being because all the tires are pretty much brand new. So why mess with a good thing? But underneath it, that's what you got there. It actually lays frame all the way. You may not be able to see past the body line there, and it's also kind of parked, you know, kind of wonky right now. So, but it lays all the way out, and it'll sure drag. Anyways, that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoyed looking at it. It's still a project in the works. Still has to have a lot of things fixed. I I realize that my camera skills aren't the greatest, so don't get all pissy about it. It is what it is. Anyways, thanks for looking.